Hi, my name is Beth Casebolt and I am the Communications Consultant for the Central East Regional Group. And welcome to Websites 101, Content Management. This video will focus on the content and management aspects of a congregational website. For the purposes of this presentation, we are defining management as how you manage the backbone and structure of the website. Policies and procedures are covered under a different presentation. Management basically refers to the structure of the website, so let's look at the Central East Regional Group's website as an example. This is the basic layout of the site. And the question to ask here is, what is the standard appearance of each page? I suggest you look at a lot of websites and see what feels attractive to you and what doesn't. But here are some key points you should know about. The header is the same on each page. So think about what you want to appear in each page to go in this section. Most pages are structured in columns. You can do 1, 2, or 3 columns to manage your information. In content management systems, or CMSs, the center column has the topic information, while the side column or columns provide additional information to related links, articles or events, menu items, calendars, and so forth. You also need to pay attention to how the navigation or menu system is structured and titled. The top navigation is usually the same for all pages and includes submenus for each topic. The side menu bars usually change by the section. They might mimic the submenus, or they might go into even greater detail and breakdown. And here's a point to remember about menus. Clearer titles are best. This is not the time for cuteness or being creative. This is the one place you really want to be boring. Serving is not something many folks might understand. Social justice is pretty straightforward. Now, this management structure is usually created by your website developer when they create and set up the site, and then managed by your webmaster. Major changes take a lot of advanced planning and testing. So you need to make the layout decisions early on. I recommend mapping out the site as a flowchart on paper first, before trying to create the site online, so you have an idea of how things will work. The newest trend in websites is to move your website structure and backbone from the more traditional HTML code to what is called Content Management Systems, or CMS. The 3 best known content management systems are WordPress, Joomla, and Drupal. Many server hosting companies offer one-click installations of these systems for their users. The advantage of CMS is that once the structure is set up by someone with web experience, the content of the pages can be easily managed by the average person, much like editing a Word document. So you can easily divide up the responsibilities for each section of pages to the appropriate person. For example, your RE director could oversee the RE pages, your administrator the event and basic information pages, and so on and so forth. They wouldn't necessarily write all the content, but they would oversee its placement on the site. And this takes the pressure off one volunteer and moves it to several volunteers or staff. This sort of system might make things easier to keep the site up to date. Content management systems also control the style of the site. One of the things I talk about in policies and procedures is a style guideline. Since a CMS uses a template, all those pages would look similar and would be formatted the same, making enforcing style rules easier. The Surge site, for example, didn't require any coding to get it to look that way. I merely chose a template, clicked a few preferences, and was ready to start creating menus and content. A traditional HTML site has to have all the style information hand-coded in style sheets and scripts that are applied to the pages, headings, entries, and so forth. WordPress is by far the most popular for congregational sites. One of the webmasters for First UU Church of Nashville has created a blog called Faith and Web. She has also created a UU congregational template called Faith 2012 for WordPress, and her blog works through the process of creating a website for a congregation. It has lists of what should be included and other great stuff. You can find it at faithandweb.com. Wondering if a different CMS might work best for your congregation? The UUA website page on congregational websites has a link to an article comparing the 3 main CMS systems. All these systems have documentation and tutorials on the web, as well as help books that you can purchase. WordPress, however, is the easiest system for a novice to intermediate user to master. Want something simpler? Look into Google Sites. There's a video tutorial to tell you how. So now let's talk specifically about content. What sort of things should you include? Now, what you include is partially dictated by your policy of what will or will not be included. But here's a basic list of items that every website should include. The UUA has a more complete list on their website. But the key things would be your church's name, completely spelled out, no acronyms please. Church contact information, including key staff people. A photo of the church building so people will know they've gone to the right place. Directions to the church using MapQuest or Google Maps links. And also handwritten out directions and an address. Dates and times of services and religious education programming and upcoming topics. A short statement of beliefs so that people know what your church stands for. You might include your mission statement, a sentence about what we believe, a link to the UUA site for visitors that has information about the principles and purposes. There's all sorts of options here. Create a frequently asked questions page for visitors to tell them what they can expect when attending. A lot of people have asked questions about what to expect from a UU service. And so here's an opportunity to help them feel comfortable. Questions like, how should I dress? Is there programming for my children? Can my children stay in church with me? Are you accepting to people of whatever theology? Are you accepting to people of whatever ethnic group? You can find a list of questions and several church websites that have these kinds of pages all around the UU world. Do you provide special services? For example, is your building accessible? Do you have hearing devices? Is there special parking for handicapped or for visitors? Do you have childcare? What's a Unitarian Universalist and what do Unitarian Universalists believe? Linking to the UUA's visitors pages and the Voices of a Liberal Faith video would be good for this. A calendar. Google Calendars actually import into most contact management system pages very easily, but there are other calendaring programs out there that you can use instead. And then links to the UUA and your district so they can learn more if they're interested. And here's some key tips for creating useful websites and writing content for them. Here's your number 1 fact. Web surfers do not read all the text on a web page. They skim for items that attract their attention. Therefore, keep it short and simple. If you can say it in 5 words, don't say it in 10. Use headings and bullet points and subheadings to break it up. Bullet points when having lists of things actually is very good. Photos can help, but you do need permission. And photos really can replace 1,000 words. Also, people don't like to scroll. So if your information makes the page really long, consider breaking it up into 2 or more pages. However, it needs to flow in a way that when you break it up, it's sort of, you're creating subcategories, so that's not always possible. And finally, resources. The UUA website has a page for congregational websites filled with information and links to other sites that will help you. Of particular note is an article called A Brief Introduction to the Gentle Art of Crafting a Website for UU Congregations. It's a great online source and it helps you go through the process of creating content step by step. Please see your handout that you've been provided for more resources and help. So this concludes our video, Websites 101 Content Management. I wish you luck in creating your website.